Hello, BookTube, and welcome to 2021. It's a new year. Well, that's what the calendar says, so we got to believe it. And hopefully it'll be better than 2020. Anyway, my last video was just to say that I'm alive and I'll be back uh, doing videos in the new year. So this is the first one, but I want to thank everybody for the welcome messages and comments, welcome back comments. Again, I was very touched to see the number of people that left comments. So thank you very much. Um, on that video, I sort of mentioned that my sort of book buying is going to be curtailed for near to mid future to see what happens because of the redundancy. I'm still buying a few things occasionally, not many, but I have to sort of count the pennies, in other words. And I showed two that I had purchased on that one. And I've got a couple more here. One that I mentioned that I had ordered from the US. It was very cheap. £2.80 through Amazon for the shipping. And the book was something like it was 14 pence or 16 pence, so it was like £2.94 or 96. I was expecting an ex library at the very least, underlining and highlighting or whatever, but I was hoping it was readable. It's an academic press book, so it's an expensive book, cover price wise. Like £90, I think, is the cover price. Used ones generally seem to go for about £40. I'd not heard of it before. I just stumbled upon it and I thought it was intriguing. So it was well worth I thought, the £3. It came yesterday. Yeah, it came yesterday. Oh, and there it is. It's brand new. It's a brand new copy. When I opened it up, it was cracking or creaking and moaning. It's entitled "Ethics and Social Criticism in the Hollywood Films of Erich von Stroheim, Ernst Lubitsch, and Billy Wilder" by Nora Henry, published by Praeger in 2001. And it's like cut up into sections: an introduction, and then this Erich von Stroheim, and then Ernst Lubitsch and Billy Wilder. It looks like talking about exactly this is ethics and social criticism, but only in their Hollywood films. And then a conclusion, and it looks like it's going to be pretty good. It's not sort of on my to be read list immediately, but the Erich von Stroheim section might get a read sooner than later, and I'll get to that in a minute. Excuse me. Now, the other one, which, actually came today, which I was surprised by Courier. And I bought it from an Abe seller. Said it was new. It was very cheap. It was under £5. And there's a reason for sort of these. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. And that was Wild Bill Wellman, Hollywood Rebel by William Wellman Jr. It's a biography of William Wellman, the director. He started out in silent films and went right up into the late 50s directing. He was in World War One. He was a flying ace, and his big breakthrough for film was Wings with Clairbeau, 1926, I think it was. Clairbeau and so Richard Arnett and forget the main actor's name. Let's see if I can quickly find it here. Because it's got his filmography in the back here. Here's Wings. Clairbeau, Charles Buddy Rogers, Jack Powell, Richard Arlen. Gary Cooper was in it as well. Yeah. So and it sort of it just blew the Oscars, the first Oscars out. It's been considered the Star Wars of the silent era. Well, lots of planes flying around fighting. So, uh, and then he went on to make sound pictures as well. But one of his silent ones that is considered his favorite as well is called Beggars of Life, and hence that's why I got the book. I got the DVD. It's Kino American Region 1, Beggars of Life with Louise Brooks, Wallace Beery. It's really a Wallace Beery film, but I'm interested in it because of Louise Brooks. Richard Arlen is in the film again that was in Wings, and it was based on a book called Beggars of Life by Jim Tully, who was a hobo in his early teens, and there's no female character in the, well, he's sort of her in a sense, but it's also based on a stage play as well that was written from the book that I think had a female lead, so that's how they sort of put it together. And I'd already had, so reading wise, I'd read this, The Beggars of Life, a companion to the 1928 film. I don't know how to pronounce the author's name because he does the commentary on the film, and I always thought it was Thomas Glatz, but he says the way he pronounces it is very different. So I'm not sure, but if anybody's interested, that's his name. And he started the Louise Brooks Society online. It's basically he's trying to get all the information he can about Louise Brooks in one location, and he put this together. It's pretty good. It's got the following, going through the making of the film and a few reviews and stuff like that. So it was quite interesting. It was very short, print on demand, sort of self-published type thing, but it was well worth. I had it for a while, and then when I went back to, I can't get to most of my film books, but I was able to get this. This is Louise Brooks's own Lulu in Hollywood that was published in 1982 originally, and this is University of Minnesota press edition, 2000. They're just essays of her time acting, and they were published all over. Sometimes some of them were published in French, translated to French, and some in Sight and Sound magazine, the BFI magazine. And it was just, they were collected together in here. And the one that I picked this up to read is her On Location with Billy Wellman. And it's about filming the Beggars of Life. There she is as the female lead, or not really lead so much. But yeah, so, and then because of that, I wanted to, and listening to the commentary and other stuff about Wellman, I wanted a biography. So I found this one. And it just is, like, the information I know about him is just fascinating life. As I say, he ran away when he was 13, 14, or 15 as well. Was a hobo for a little while and then joined the Air Force. And he was an ace, and he just sort of, he was a strict director. Pushed his actors to even do stunts that actually they could hurt themselves. And they didn't really get along, Louise Brooks and him, so much, but he respected her, and I think she respected him finally in the end. And because her career sort of went off the rails when sound came through, not because of that, but he offered her the lead role in The Public Enemy in 1931, with James Cagney. And that would have skyrocketed Louise Brooks' career, to no end. but she declined it. I think the main reason was that she had a boyfriend at that time, and she just went out of town, so she wasn't interested. Which is too bad. The lead went to Jean Harlow, but if it would have been to Louise Brooks, I think it would have just, it springboarded Jean Harlow's career as well. And then Wellman's just went on to make so many films. Another great one is the Oxbow Incident with Henry Fonda, and I forget the other guy's name. He played the colonel, the second colonel in MASH. I can't remember his name, but anyway, that's a fabulous film. Again, it was based on a novel by Van Tilburg Clark. I can't think of the person's first name, but anyway, yeah. So this is the thing. Like with films, always lead me to books. Always, if it's a film, especially silent films, classic films, they lead me back to books. And so I like they're linked to me because I always want to know more about the actors, the setting, the directors, you name it, and eventually, like, I've got no, I thought I had it to hand. I mentioned Eric von Stroheim here. He did a film called Greed. It was based on Frank Norris's McTeague, and he filmed it. And apparently, he filmed, like, the legend is that he filmed every scene. And the cut, like his film was like could be 10, 12 hours long. There's stories that it was more, that it was a lot longer, but it may or may not have been. It's hard to know. But they took it away they cut it down to, I think, under 2 hours. And that's how it was released, and that's how it's been seen. And recently, in the past, like, a couple decades, they've restored it with stills. They don't have any of the film, or none of the film has come to light yet. It probably never will. Which makes it 4 hours. It's never been officially released. It's been released on TV and possibly on DVD in somewhere like Spain or some other European country. Sometimes you get things like that released. But I've got a DVD-R, sort of pirated copy that I bought off of Amazon, off of a seller. So I got 4 hours to read that, and that's why, like I say, when I watch that, I might go back and read the Stroheim section in this book here. But I also pulled out my little BFI classic, Greed, little essay book, 60-some pages long, written by Jonathan Rosenbaum, originally published in 1993. This is a reprint 94. I read the introduction, like, 4 pages. It's pretty dense. The guy's not the greatest of writers. It's really dense. Or at least that's the impression I get. So, but it's only 60. It's less than 60 pages, so I'll just read it slowly before I watch the film. But again, it's bringing me back to books. This is a fabulous series. I think they've done over 250 titles or 240 titles. TV, modern stuff, as well as silence, and all the way up. Just, I'm not interested in most of them. If stretching, there might be 30 I'd be interested in, I think, if that many. I've got about 4 or 5, I think, at the moment, but there are other ones that I wouldn't mind getting. Like, there's Metropolis. I'm not sure if I got Metropolis. There's Caligari. There's other ones. There's a Nosferatu, I think, one, which would be nice to get. But they're pricey for what they are. Like, this is 60 pages, 64 pages with the index and so forth, and it's like $11.99 is the cover price for it. Like, I picked this up as a used copy somewhere for like a couple pounds, So, and that's where most of the ones I got. I got them, less. I don't think I paid more than £5 for them. Oh, except there was a new one on Pandora's Box, Louise Brooks. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing and reading um, in between Christmas and now. And as I say, I'll be back. Not quite sure when or with what video, but I thought I'd just do a catch up for the new year. And we'll see what happens. And if anybody else is interested in sort of films and books, then let me know. If do films do the same thing to you? Do they lead you back to books usually? Uh, I can't see uh, films that are coming out today doing that. Not for me anyway, but if they do, I'd love to hear. And anything that, you watch something and you just had to know something more about the actor, actress, or the setting, or yeah, it's just to me they're intertwined. Books and films, at least classic films for me. But anyway, I'll leave you there. I'm starting to ramble. And I hope everybody's doing well. And let's keep our fingers crossed for 2021. We'll see. Take care, BookTube.